Welcome back to the windmills because they are closest to where we're headed next.
The Martyr's Tower. A place of dark memories, where the Hunter tortured his prisoners. Those people died because they stood against Ahriman for the sake of others.
Well, at least the tower is appropriately named. So if you stand up against Ahriman, you get sent to a tower and get hunted and murdered by an animalistic sadist. Let's talk more about the Hunter for a second. We learned last time that he was a prince, who gave up pretty much everything just to hunt men. And the prince asked why this could be. Not the Hunter prince, our prince. Now, Elika didn't really give him an answer. But you can become very bored when you're on top of the world. You can also become very detached from reality when you're on top of the world. Your actions really have no consequences and you can just do whatever the hell you want to because you're powerful. So why wouldn't you sell your soul to a dark god because you're bored? You want some entertainment, you really don't care where it comes from, even if it comes from killing people.
What's got him stirred up?
This is the Martyr's Tower. He used to bring prisoners here. For sport.
And now we're about to jump over to play. Nice tower. I'd say it was from the ominous and forbidding school of architecture.
The fertile ground is...
At the top of the tower. Well, they wouldn't put it on the ground floor, would they?
I mean, it seems selfish, and it totally is. Killing people is a selfish thing. Don't kill people. Ever. But boredom drives people to do some pretty crazy things. And it's not like they live in modern times like we do, where there's always new things to play around with. So a detachment from reality coupled with boredom, yeah, probably could lead the prince to kill people. Again, not our prince. I'm kind of glad we're going to deal with the Hunter soon, because it feels good to call our prince the prince. It has thematic relevance, and it's just a good alias. Something I didn't mention before about the Wings of Ormaz is that if you run into something, the prince is the only one that gets hurt. Elika just vanishes, and the prince runs face first into a wall. It's kind of funny. But we're getting pretty close to the Hunter's home right now.
Trap?
Yes, he's a hunter, remember? I think we can get down that wall there.
So what I said way earlier about the prince being more aggressive when he's around the Hunter, that seems to be the case. I don't think he would normally act that aggressive or that feral.
By the light of Ormaz.
Well, here we are. Two of us. Alone in the dark.
Saved by the Yowl.
We're in the Hunter's playground? Any hints what he's got planned for us?
He kept his prisoners here. He'd hunt them across the city, and then he'd hang his trophies from the walls of this tower.
I don't suppose these trophies were flower posies.
They were the bodies of the martyred. Men, women, children, who stood in Ahriman's way.
So if we don't kill this Hunter, we end up as a wall decoration. I suppose that's sort of motivational.
We don't have to kill him. We just need to force him back in the prison with Ahriman.
But you don't really believe he's gonna make it that easy, do you? Do you think that fall was the trap, or do you think this is the trap down here?
We need to find our way up.
If we just stay here, what do you think he'll do?
I don't think that's an option. Let's try and get out.
I don't know about you, but I don't intend to let him hang me off.
There totally was not an edit there. Alright, so those last two questions the prince asked, they always crack me up. They're not even meant to be funny, but they come across that way. Do you think that was the trap, or this is the trap down here? Is that really the time to be asking that? This particular room reminds me a lot of a room in the original Uncharted. I can't think of why. Aside from Nolan North voice acting both the prince and Nathan. If this place had a giant pit of corruption in it back when Armin took over the first time, I can see it being used for some pretty effective torture. Maybe the Alchemist would want to get in on that. It doesn't seem like the Alchemist and the Hunter would get along very well. They have conflicting personalities, and they want to do very different things with the people they capture. So if my theory about the Hunter's motivation for turning into a corrupted is correct, it's probably beyond impossible to reason with him, because he sees no value in human life whatsoever. I mean, we can assume that from what he's done to all the people he kept in this tower. Then again, he doesn't seem capable of talking to begin with. It's easy to assume that turning into a corrupted automatically gets rid of your empathy, but Elika told us that they remain somewhat like their original selves. So it might just be the case that we haven't run into a corrupted with empathy yet. Which doesn't necessarily make it impossible. We haven't seen it yet, but perhaps there is a good reason to sell your soul to Armin. I bet Elika's father felt like he had one.
Who's the hunter now?
Elika doesn't really comment on that outburst, but we can assume she's thinking quite a few things. Even if it was unintentionally or perhaps intentionally humorous. It does tell us again that the prince is being kind of aggressive here, more so than he usually is.
We have to find a way to get to that power plate.
We can't jump diagonally, so that's out of the question. We've got to find a way to approach that plate from the front. This place is kind of unique, in that we do a lot of platforming after we've already beaten the corrupted. Usually that doesn't happen. There's nothing to dodge in here, even though they really like to make you freak out with all the tight curves.
Looks like we might skip being the hunter's trophies after all.
Let's heal this ground.
There! Didn't like that, did you? What?
This land is healed. We must go on.
Uh-huh. But why have you gone prickly on me?
You enjoyed that.
Teaching that thing a lesson? Taking some revenge for the people it killed? Yes, I enjoyed that. And you enjoyed that side of things too. Don't worry, Princess. You're still more than good enough for both of us.
Wow. And with you as a measuring stick, that really makes me a saint.
Hey, I've helped old ladies home from the market.
If they had attractive daughters.
Yeah. Then I helped them too.
The Black Gate is opened.
Is that a good thing?
We can enter the corrupted sanctuary.
And once we heal the fertile ground there,
There is no fertile ground. The essence of that place will rest inside the corrupted.
And they're just gonna let us take it. Much more of this, and I'm gonna have to stop and sharpen this sword. Where's this Black Gate?
At the top of this region.
So the Black Gate is open, just like that.
I can open it when we get there.
By the Black Gate is open, you meant...
It will be open once we go there. Ahriman can no longer take the energy from the fertile grounds here. The gate will open.